You yelling, screaming, bitching, Me Too movement, well, I've got something to say to you. You have got no argument because each and every one of you voted for Obama or voted for Hillary. And as a result of Obama being elected and Hillary wanting the borders completely open, thousands of little girls, babies, adult women have been raped and sold into sex slavery. So your whole argument of how much you suffered from any guy in this country, any guy that if you went to the police would have investigated it, okay? It's a crime in this country, not a crime in Mexico. And somehow Obama, who has 2 daughters, allowed this to happen. And Hillary, who cares Hillary? She don't care. She wants the borders open. All the drugs and all the murder and all the rapes coming through and children and women being sold into sex trafficking. So how can you vote for these people and then go in the streets and march against Trump because you say he's a misogynist, but as it turned out, all the leaders of that particular movement happen to be in an industry where Harvey Weinstein and tons of other people, higher-ups, were raping children, not just grown people. You are just a bunch of hypocrites. And oh, by the way, welcome to Wicked Felina. In his episode, I'm going to be really wicked. I'm Felina. You know, we should all be talking about this IG report that basically shows a tremendous amount of bias in the FBI and corruption in our government from Obama down. And I do remember, and I think it's because I followed WikiLeaks very religiously, that regarding Hillary's private server, that Obama knew for a fact that she was sending and receiving confidential government email on that server. And because he was sending her communication to that email address, I seem to remember this very clearly, and I'm sure a lot of you did too, but maybe the IG report just confirmed it and everyone's talking, well, people were talking about it until this new conflict arose. A conflict which did not, or is a tragedy, the end of the world, Nazis are taking over, about the children in cages that are coming to our borders, which started under Obama. I guess was going on through the Bush administration, so that's 8 years. Obama, that's another 8 years. And he signed off on this. And in fact, was the ACLU sued Obama because of the way they were detaining the children, separating them from the parents. Now, I'm sure you know there's a reason why they were separated from the adults they were coming with, because it was found out that not all these adults are actually the parents of these children. And people want to come in, get asylum. What do? You grab a child, you pay the parents off. These are all great parents. These parents, I'm telling you, these parents south of the border that are sending their children alone with plan B, just in case they get raped. That's the abortion pill. or sending them with coyotes, which will put them into sex trafficking to pay off the debt of sending them over the border. These are really fantastic parents. And somehow it's the Mexican people and the people of South America that are all the saints. It just really pisses me off. No, not if you're doing this to your child. First of all, this is how I'm going to start this off. Any child comes to the border with somebody who's not their parents, even with their parent. If you come through with a little child that has made this trip, whether if it's your child, you've put this child through unbelievable suffering because of this trip, or you've sent this child with someone else and exposed this child to rape and tremendous amount of atrocities that are done to either male or female children, or you've sent the child alone. Child comes through. Your parents will never be allowed into this country. The second they come to this country, they will be jailed for sending a child over the border, sending a child alone with coyotes, with drug cartels that rape them. If you're bringing your child and endangering your child, bringing them over the border, you will also be jailed for doing this to a child, having a child endure this trip. And if this is not your child, the person who is bringing this child through, who is not the parent of this child, will also be jailed for kidnapping that child. So yes, these people should be separated. The children should be separated, and it's mandatory. Just like when a parent does a crime, the parent goes to jail and the child does not go to jail. We should put these people in jail for doing this to their children. And somehow, if you send your child, your little girl, across the border with Plan B, then you're expecting her to be raped. And she is going to suffer probably more than just getting pregnant. That's not really the big deal. Or a vicious, violent rape, and that the emotional consequences is even more than that. There's all sorts of sexually transmitted diseases, and some will kill you. So you are basically, you're putting your child, and you know you are because you're sending them up with Plan B, for God's sakes. You know what you're doing. You're fully aware that your child could not only get pregnant, but could die. Rape and die later on, die right away, be sent into sex trafficking to pay off the debt, or being put into gangs that, like MS-13, who follow a satanic ritual, the way they murder people. Like, they will beat them up, stab them 50 to 100 times, shoot them, cut their hearts out, and cut their heads off. It's happening all over. Okay, so if you're a boy, you will end up in these gangs. So if you are a parent that's coming through with these children, or you're just sending them up alone, if you better stay away from America, because any parent that does that and subjects their child to this type of harm, and their child becomes a gang member and goes out and kills other people, basically, that's like an accomplice to a crime. You are an accomplice to a crime, and you have committed a crime. In fact, many crimes, child endangerment. First of all, this is the reason why this should stop. Second of all, no, America is not Mexico. America is not Mexico. It is not run by drug cartels. Most of the northern states of Mexico are completely run by drug cartels, and the police are beholden to them. And if you get arrested by the police that are beholden to the drug cartels, that's a death sentence. First, that's a torture sentence. Now, the drug cartels are making $69 billion a year off of sending drugs to Americans, and we are dying at a rate of 64,000 of us a year. That's murder. Now, if you erase that border, which, see, the border is basically erased, these gang members, the drug cartels, they pass over the border all the time. They commit a crime and they go back, and law enforcement in this country cannot catch them. It's brilliant because basically they've got it down pat. If you commit a crime, well, you're basically off the hook. You're never going to get caught. Now, 16 in Massachusetts were arrested, and 15 of them were illegal. But the 16th was also from south of the border. He just happened to be a citizen. And what they were doing was they were sending notices. They were trying to catch people online or other guys online and pretend that they're a young woman that wants to meet them at the beach. Except it's not a young woman. It's the MS-13 gang, which they beat them up to a pulp and then spray bullets into them, or they stab them, and spray bullets into them, and then they'll do the whole other satanic ritual with their bodies. This is going through the courts right now in Massachusetts, that one little state alone. So yes, I want to speak to all the humanitarian progressives out there. Do you realize what these children are going through? Any adult who passes through that border with a child, what they have put that child through, be their parent or someone who has just taken the child from the parent and paid the parent to take that child over the border. And say, well, when the child gets there, then they can send for you. No way. No way should that parent ever come to this country after doing that to their children. And if you think that somehow, I don't know, that you think South Americans and Mexicans are better than Americans, where the rule of law has protected children and adults from rape and murder and we used to be a very low crime rate nation. Now it's skyrocketing. Why? Well, you know what? It's skyrocketed since we had our last president that opened up the border, not just to the Mexican drug cartels, all the drugs that are coming in and people dying of the drugs, but also Hezbollah, because he had that Iran deal. And he worked with the mullahs who are taking foreign aid, taking aid from America, and paying terrorists around the world to work for them and to kill people. And he looked the other way when Hezbollah came to the South America and started sending drugs from South America to America to kill more Americans. He looked the other way. And through those tunnels that the drugs come in, Fast and Furious, remember Fast and Furious? He and Eric Holder devised this plan to send AK-47s, all types of rifles, through the same tunnels that the drugs are being smuggled up coming into this country. Guns are going directly to the drug cartels to murder Mexicans. In fact, the Mexican murder rate last year skyrocketed. Why is it skyrocketing? Well, there are guns coming from America into Mexico, and they're being killed by these drug cartels. Oh, the blood on Obama's hands can never be washed off. Never. And he was the one who okayed putting these children in these cages. Well, there's a reason why he separated them, because not every person that comes in with a child is the child's parent. But like I said before, I don't care if you are or are not the parent. The parent is to blame for this, because the parent is being paid to send their child up here with someone who is probably going to sell them into sex trafficking. So the parents are felons on the loose. They are not to be allowed into this country. If they come in, they should be arrested and thrown in jail. You know, by deporting them, what happens? By deporting any criminal that commits a crime, what happens? They just come right back in. First time you come in, it's a misdemeanor. Second time you come in, it's a felony, no matter what you've done. And the catch and release program by Obama. Well, because we have no way of holding all these people, because he's called so many people to come through the border. Well, also, cities and towns run by liberal progressives because they are illegal here. No matter what crime they've committed, they let them go. In my own town, it's happened that illegals that have committed crimes, they arrest them, but they let them go. So that means if you're illegal, you can commit any crime imaginable and you will be let go because the liberal progressives do not want you to be deported. Why don't the liberal, who are supposed to be humanitarians, remember, it's the Trump people who are not humanitarians. The Trump people are the ones that are Nazis. But somehow, you liberal progressives, you want criminals who've committed murder and rape. Let's even forget theft. Let's put that one, theft, that's nothing as long as you're not harmed bodily. Rape or murder, they're letting them go. You want them in this country. You are the frickin' Nazi. You are the murderer. If you okay this and you hate Trump because he wants to keep crime out of this country, which most of the time, these people come in and kill other Mexicans, kill other illegals, kill Black people. Do you understand what you're doing? It's not just like, oh, who cares about scaring white people or killing white people? It doesn't really matter. They're also killing people who are not white. They're also killing Mexicans. I don't care who you are. If you commit a crime, you should go to jail. Right now, there's a presidential candidate. Let's take a look at this guy's name. His name is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He calls for a mass exodus to America. And soon, quote, very soon, after the victory of our movement, we will defend all the migrants in America and all the migrants in the world, Obrador said, adding that immigrants must leave their town and find a life in the United States. He then declared it as a human right we will defend. July 1st is the election, and this guy is the front runner. He declares Mexico will not become a piñata to any foreign government. What the frick are you talking about? What the frick are you talking about? These drug cartels, these people are coming in here. They're putting their child through sex trafficking, MS-13 gangs, piñata. It's the Americans who've become the piñatas, and other Mexicans who are becoming the piñatas of the drug cartels and of the gangs and of the parents who do not care if their child is raped. By the way, in Mexico, it's more of a crime if you steal someone's cow. There's more of a fine. If you rape someone's daughter, the only thing you have to do, or I guess you don't really have to do it, is go and say, I'm sorry to the parents. As of 2011, 7 out of 10 girls were victims of incest. So this piñata, your whole country's a piñata. Your murder rate has skyrocketed. Piñata, you are the piñata. You are the piñata, and you want America to be the piñata. What are you talking about? You're a victim. Your country is run by drug cartels. In fact, these people from the South American countries cannot pass through Mexico because there's a wall, and we gave millions to fund that wall, which you have people with machine guns waiting for people that come through, and if they come through, they get either killed or put in jail. And the reason why people are allowed to go through, it's because the government is getting paid money by the drug cartels. They're working hand in hand to funnel these people through Mexico into America, because your country is working hand in hand with the drug cartels, which run most of the northern Mexican states. They're running the country. So what? Erase the border, and this guy and other Mexicans, they want there to be a majority of Mexicans and erase the border. So you know who's going to run this country? The drug cartels, the dictators. The dictators, which if they can arrest you and just kill you. They can arrest you and throw you in prison and torture you. If you have political wrongthink of any kind, just like Fidel Castro and Che Guevara, they put you before a firing squad and kill you. So these are the people that you want running. It's not the good law-abiding people. These are the people that are going to run the entire American continent, north and south. America is the only, and maybe, kind of maybe Canada. Trudeau is kind of like out there. These are the people that you're going to live under. And the progressives in this country are 100% behind illegal immigration. Because once a majority of Latinos, Hispanics, come into this country, they already can swing an election. That's it. That's the end of the Constitution. The thing about free speech, the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, civil rights, human rights, the right to illegal or against legal search and seizure, all these rights will be gone. Why are you for socialism and communism and a dictatorship? That is what Mexico is. It's a dictatorship. And every guy who's ever run Mexico is basically white. He's a descendant of the conquistadors that conquered the peaceful Aztecs as they were cutting the hearts out of their victims. and then they embezzle millions of dollars and take off. You know, honest to God, you were the Nazis. You were the Nazis, and I'm sick of it. And you need to hear it. You're allowing, I think Trump had all those angel moms and dads at the White House. Children who've been killed by these illegal gang members that are coming over the border. Now, whether you are in a gang or not, you end up in a gang because you have to pay the drug cartels for bringing you over the border. So you become a member of these gangs, these murderous gangs. You are the Nazis. You progressives are the Nazis. And you're brainwashed because Obama said Obama wants it. Obama wants Hezbollah to send drugs. He sends guns through the border to kill Mexicans, but somehow the blood is on Trump's hands. Rapes. What do you think he said? We mentioned rapes. Yes, that's why they send them up with Plan B. That's why there's so much sex trafficking going on. It's because they're sending their children into this sex trafficking. That's why Trump said some are rapists. He said there are amongst them rapists, and there are amongst them murderers. There are amongst them drug dealers. And some, I'm sure, are very good people. Why did that part get lost on you? You're closing your eyes to the fact that you are feeding a sex trafficking industry. You're feeding a drug industry that's killing millions of people and making the drug cartels more powerful. $69 billion from America alone, not to mention these people who come over the border, work under the table, and get benefits that they have enough money to send back to that's $120 billion that's sent out of this country. To all the other South American countries because they work under the table and they get benefits. What about the homeless Americans? What about the poor Americans? And we're talking about not just white people, people of all stripes and religions. What about them? No, if they don't pay their taxes, they'll get sent to jail. But somehow these people who are all poor and go to church and are saintly are making enough money to send billions out of this country. I don't know what's wrong with you people. I didn't finish reading this. Okay, July 1st, this guy is going to be elected president. So he's not declares that Mexico will not become a piñata. Bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. You've made a piñata of America. You've made a piñata of your own country, for Christ's sake. To any foreign government. Interesting, since the Mexicans claim that this is their land, what foreign government is he talking about? This is their land, which is a lie, and that will be the next episode. I will tell you how much of a lie that actually is. Obrador has previously proposed granting amnesty to Mexican drug cartels. Boy, we're gonna be doing so well when this guy becomes El Presidente. America is now Mexico's social safety net. We are their social safety net. And that's a very good deal for the Mexican ruling class. Interesting. So all these kids in cages are Obama's fault, not Trump's. But somehow, whatever crime Obama has done, and there's blood on his hands, I won't reiterate it, but I also have a video about the whole Hezbollah drug dealer. And I'm going to put it in the link below, okay? So, in another episode, I will tell you the truth about the Mexican-American War and who really owns what. You can tell I never swear in my videos. Oh, in the beginning I swore a little bit, but I've been a very good girl and I didn't want to swear. But I'm telling you, I am sick of this. Obama was sued for doing this whole separation of children or keeping them in cages. He was the one that was sued. And every crime Obama has done, somehow it's Trump's fault. How can it possibly be Trump's fault? So in another video, and I have the link below, I talk about how Obama allowed Hezbollah to bring drugs to South America so they can be shipped up to this country and kill Americans while he was sending guns of all kinds through the same tunnels to kill South Americans. And some of those guns, by the way, remember? So some of those guns ended up in the Paris terrorist attack. And I just like to say, mainstream media, keep doing your job. Every time you expose something and claim it's Trump that did it, it turns out that you're exposing Obama's crimes. So keep exposing Obama's crimes, and we'll all get out there and we'll tell you the truth on who did these crimes and who's the one who's trying to prevent bloodshed and rape, and who is the one that fed it. You kind of wonder why how could Obama afford all those mansions in Hawaii, California, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Martha's Vineyard, in each one at a tune of $8.1 million. Of course, he bailed out Wall Street. So all you Wall Street people that occupy Wall Street, why didn't you protest Obama? Because he bailed out the banks, and now Wall Street is paying him $500,000 on a regular basis. So, coming up in my next video, I'll tell you about the truth of the Mexican-American War, and also why everyone is getting a very skewed presentation of the news. Why all of these big news outlets, they all seem to be telling the same lie, as if they were all run by the same people. I wonder how that happens. Anyway, one little kiss from Felina. And boy, did I give you a big kiss tonight, didn't I?